Shalom, and welcome to episode 2 of the Israelite Girl's Guide to Living for the Most High. I'm back, episode 2. The title of this is, Are You Out in These Streets? If you have not already taken a listen at the first episode, please do take a listen to that. It lays the groundwork, the framework, and the foundation for this next episode. So please do pause this one and take a listen to the first one if you haven't already. But this one, we're going to talk about, are you out in these streets? The title of this was pretty funny how it even came about. There were rumors going around as I was coming into this truth that I had strayed away from the church and I had strayed away from God. And I was just kind of out here. And I thought that this rumor was very interesting, just due to the fact that I had never felt closer to the Most High. I was making the Most High my priority. He was everything to me, is everything to me. So hearing that those around me, those closest to me, from their perspective, assumed that I had put God on the back burner, it did hurt my feelings. But I couldn't let that shake my commitment to the Most High. If anything, that just made me stand firmer and run harder to Him for that reason. So I can start off with the story. I know last episode I shared I was going to dive deep into the actual story of what occurred. So I'm going to share that with you all today. So last week, I received a message from a sister of mine who grew up in the same church as me. She is a little older than I am, but we grew up around the same time. She is also an Israelite. She reached out to me to let me know that her mother was speaking to her about different youth that had grown up and had strayed away from God and had left the church. And how I was actually amongst those that had left. Everyone keeps asking, where am I? Where am I? My parents will say, oh, so-and-so asked about you this week. So-and-so asked about you this week. I'm not far. I'm friends with everybody on social media. Everyone can see the wave I'm on. And how all I talk about is the Most High and uplifting and restoring our nation of people. So how could anyone assume that God is not important to me? So continuing on with the story, the mother is telling her daughter how my parents have gone to the front during altar call and asked for prayer for me because I've strayed away from God and I've strayed away from the church. So hearing that from her, it got me thinking, wow, is this really how I look to those who watched me grow up into the young woman I am today? If you visit my profiles or even my website, does it appear that I have strayed away from God, that He's no longer important to me? But I can understand where this came from. Now, her mom did mention this to her last week, but I'm not exactly sure at what point my parents went to request for prayer for me. Because in the beginning of this walk, I did take an extreme approach. I can admit, I was immature in the walk. I was receiving so much information at one time. It was so much for me to process. I just felt I have to share with the whole world. There's not going to be one person that I come across who I haven't shared this truth with. And the thing about truth is, you have to be willing to receive it. If you're not receptive to it, it won't affect you the way that I think it should. And so I was not sensitive to that. A lot of our parents and grandparents, they weren't born into these types of ideologies. Hearing something like this just doesn't make sense to them. And that's fine. The Most High has a code for everybody. Which program are you plugged into? So going back to my extremism, everyone was so concerned. I'm loathing holidays, speaking vehemently against holidays and birthdays. I'm saying how Jesus is the devil and all of these wild things, right? And everyone's looking at me like, wow, she's in a cult. And at the time, I can admit it did look like a cult. People thought I was being misled and brainwashed. The people that I was associating with didn't have the cleanest track records. They also looked like they were being brainwashed and in a cult. And I had started to separate myself from my loved ones because they didn't understand who I was becoming. So my message today is, don't let their misunderstandings keep you from maturing and developing into the person the Most High has called you to be. That's where I dropped the ball. Luckily, my sister took a stand for me last week, and she told her mother, no, she's not strayed from God at all. If not, she's an example of how being close to God should be. I actually see her works. I see her fruits. Have you checked out her page? Have you checked out her social media? What have you seen with your own eyes versus what you're hearing from someone else's lips? And it's the same for us today. A lot of people may not understand the walk that we're on. Living in Babylon does have its challenges for sure, but it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. I mean, look at Joseph. He prospered in the land of Egypt, became the #1 official in Pharaoh's house, and he was respected, although he was Hebrew. So I just want everyone to understand that this walk comes with many tests and challenges, and you're going to be forced to mature into something that you honestly didn't see in the beginning. My birthday was yesterday, and looking back now, a year ago, so much growth has taken place. And that's what I love the most about this walk and being close to the Most High. Just when you think you've reached the pinnacle of growth and maturity, there's still so much more you have to go. And that's honestly a blessing. I was grateful that my sister took a stand for me and was able to speak on my behalf based on the things that I'm putting out and the things that she sees me doing. So my question is, what are you standing for? Are you standing for the Most High? My standing for the Most High caused rumors to be spread, but if they take a look at the things I'm involved in, my work will speak for itself. Will your work speak for themselves? Will your faith speak for itself? Really answer this question today. Are you standing for the Most High? Shalom.